Brendan, it's back to league business after a couple of games and other competitions. What's the overriding feeling ahead of this weekend?
Yeah, well, it's on to the next game. I think we, as I said, we take a point and some positives in the performance and show good spirit, resilience, and now we're back playing again. So yeah, the team's in good spirit.
Do you feel like the squad's getting better for all these different experiences? Obviously, the end of the window is a bit hectic and maybe trying to get players up to speed and so on. Can you see that progression game to game?
Yeah, I think now and going through, you start to find the rhythm, and of course there's another international break soon. But I think now you start to play games and you start to use the squad more and everything else. So, but yeah, I think that like I said, I think we showed great spirit the other night. It's not an easy place to go, and plenty of people will tell you that. But we went and found a way to get a result and make the first steps in the competition, and now players are starting to find their levels.
How are you finding the balance of your attack at the moment? Thinking of a few different guys, maybe at different levels of form and in different situations at the club. How satisfied or otherwise are you with the balance you've got in your front three?
Well, I think it's a consequence of where we were, obviously from the summer. So we have to look to find it. It's not as natural maybe as what it was last year, in some ways. But I think we can see opportunities there for like Kel's coming into the team, and I know he's a natural striker, and he can do really good things for us. So that's part of the challenge, of course, is filling the gaps maybe where we have some.
Because part of that puzzle, I suppose, would be Dyson, who had this brilliant season last season. You mentioned the other night he's maybe not at his best. With all the talk about him at the end of the window, how is he? Where is his head at? And you look at trying to fit him into the team at the moment.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that is that is part of the management process, because you can't underestimate how difficult it's been for him. This is a guy who's given absolutely everything for this football club, and even sometimes when you want to give your best, there's a subconscious thing that can obviously hold you back a little bit. But what's important is, and like I say to any player in this situation, it's so important that you don't get caught up in this sort of mentality of it's not fair, because when you get caught in that, it's a very dangerous territory, and it's hard to move on from. So you have to really look forward. Really do it for your teammates, do it for your family, do it for your supporters, and then eventually you get confidence back and you start to get back to your normal self. So, but he's been an incredible player for this club, and I'm pretty sure over these coming weeks he'll get back to the form that he's shown. And and I can only talk from my couple of years here. He's been absolutely sensational. So he will get back to that. And but it is always a challenge. It's not a light bulb you just switch the flick on and off. It's this game's about emotions as well, and it can be challenging for players.
From what you know about his mindset, having worked with him for a good while, are you quite confident that he will be able to get past that period? You even look back to, I think you said maybe February that he'd intimated he maybe wanted to leave, but then from February onwards was probably his best form that he's had for Celtic.
Yeah. I think that, listen, you're going to have dips as a player, no matter, if he was here and committed for 4 or 5 years, for example, you can still have dips in your form. And I think with Dyson, it's always probably, it's very obvious just because of the level of work and intensity that he plays with. So, but I'm very confident that he will get back to the level, and like I say, as a guy, he's a great person. Leaves everything out on the field. He's had this little issue around his ankle as well, which it hasn't helped. But he will continue to give absolutely everything.
What type of challenge are you expecting from Hibs? They're maybe not in the form they would want to be in coming into this game.
Well, I think David's teams are well organised. Some good results, some indifferent results for them, but David showed last year in that point when they were suffering that his coaching ability and managerial ability to turn it around, and they end up having a great season. Either unfortunate in the European, work that they didn't qualify, but and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to come through that. But we still prepare for a tough game. They got good players, well coached, will make it difficult for us. And even last year we played really well at Celtic Park in the games, but we still have to work very hard to get the result.
It was revealed today that I think some sections of the support are planning a silent protest that will increase for the next 3 home games. Is that something that maybe concerns you about potentially the impact it could have on the pitch?
Well, I haven't seen that as of yet, so listen, all I know, the uniqueness of Celtic as a football club is the supporters, and what makes them unique is the fanatical support that we get. So I can only hope that continues, because it really lifts this team, and it lifts myself, it lifts everyone involved with the team. So, but yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Especially for European games, you look to Braga next Thursday. That European atmosphere is something that really helps.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. It's a really special place. But I would say it for every game. Like, you've seen away at Kilmarnock, the support that we had there was incredible, and it really pushed us and really helps us. So, European nights are special at Celtic Park, of course, but I would always go and say that wherever we travel, wherever we go, whether it's home or away, it's the Celtic support that makes this club.
Playing 3 games, or back to playing 3 games a week, Brendan, how does that affect your kind of work on the training pitch with the players, time-wise?
Yeah, well, it just limits it, of course, in terms of the intensity of which you can work. Because, like you say, you play on Wednesday night, you travel back. Most of the squad and players would have got home about 5:30 in the morning, and then you're recovering the rest of Thursday. Then you're in today to recover and do some light bits of technical work. Go through the technical analysis in here with the players, and then you're straight into the game. So I think for a lot of us, and when you're at a big club, you have to get used to it. It's part of the challenge. It's the rhythm of games, recovery, play games, and then, like I say, it's where your squad comes into it.
Everybody okay from the other night?
Yes, yeah, we've got Rio as a question mark. But apart from that, yeah, we're virtually the same.
What's the issue with Rio?
Yeah, he felt a bit tight in his hamstring. So we just have to monitor that, and I'll find out this afternoon where he's at.
Obviously, we spoke about the attack there before. How do you feel about the midfield area, Brendan, and that part of the team, how that's functioning at the moment? And obviously, you've got guys there like Arne and Paulo who look probably as desperate to get in as well.
Yeah, and I think all those guys in midfield, there's a purpose why you carry so many at a club like this here, because you know that when you get into the thick of the games, you need all the energy, you need all the qualities and that ability to change the game if needed. So I think in the early part of the season, if you're playing 1 game a week, it can be tough. And then I said before that we're trying to find rhythm as a team. But all those guys will play a part, absolutely, and and then it's up to yourself to then take that opportunity when it comes. So, but yeah, we've got a good squad of players in there, and they'll all be used.
How are your injured players, Brendan? Tony back?
Tony trained at the beginning of the week. He obviously travelled with us, and he's available for tomorrow. Austin had his first day back with the training group today. Who else have we got? We've got Ali Johnson. Yeah, Ali will be hopefully joining us soon, but clearly not ready yet.
How's it? We obviously spoke about young Colby the other night and how well he did. Is he, even at this stage in his career, is he able to cope with that volume of games and playing so quickly?
Well, yeah. I obviously have to keep an eye on it, because he's obviously played 3 back-to-back games for me, but not only that, he was away, played 2 games internationally. So he's played 5 games in a really short period of time, and of course now the intensity of games has gone up. So yeah, I clearly have to manage that for him. But no, he's a great boy. He's a tough kid, and so pleased for him, because you give him that opportunity, and be easy not to have played him, but this is where young careers, you can make your career in games like that there, and I think he showed what we all know here as staff, and that he's got big personality, and he was just like a duck to water, really, just straight in and got on with it. So thankfully he doesn't overthink things, he just plays football, and probably the danger start when he does think too much.
Is this where your experience as a manager comes in, managing young boys? It might be easy to keep playing them, but when you talk about the intensity of these games, sometimes you do have to give them a break, and then...
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt. There's it is all a part of the management of the individual player. When you're robust and playing season after season, you're used to that, then you have the rhythm of it. But when you're not, and especially for him on the back of the couple of internationals he's played, so it's a lot of game time, and especially coming out of the first team, all the anxieties, all the intensities that come with games like that. But he's coped very, very well, but we've also got Tony back now as well in there. But I think we've gained a player in that period, and that was always the thinking of not putting him out on loan, if we could keep him and then find a way to get him playing. And he's came through it with flying colours, really. So still a lot of work for him to do, and but really pleased, and we have to try and manage him for sure.
I wonder, what role does Kieran Tierney, as someone who walked that walk at a young age as a Celtic player, how does he help Colby with the demands of being a Celtic player?
Well, I think all the players here they're wonderful role models. I think if you look at every single one of them, they've come through the system here at Celtic, you know, from Callum, from James, from Kieran, Tony Ralston, like I said, well, she's now at Motherwell, but he's a player here. All those boys that have come through the system, they've always been great with those younger guys that step up and come in, because they know the burden you carry being a homegrown player, playing for Celtic, how special it is. But of course, the eyes are really on you. So they help the young guys. They help the young guys ensure that the humility is held here. That you never get too carried away with yourself, which is always important. And but thankfully they have a good education in the academy, and if they break through to the first team, they know the values that's needed and required to play for Celtic. And thankfully, young Colby seems to have those.
It was another big moment for Kelechi midweek as well, Brendan. You must be delighted with the impact that he's made, you know, so early into his Celtic career.
Yeah, and he's only going to get better. That's because I know the player and I know how good he can be and how good he was for me. So, yeah, delighted for him, because obviously it was when he came in, I think normally just because of the timing probably of his arrival and everything that surrounded our window, it maybe wasn't maybe so accepting for him to be in. But there's absolutely no doubt of all the players and lists that came to me that actually was available, he was absolutely the standout player. And I know his talents, and I know how big a player he can be, and now he's starting to settle into the squad and the group, and he'll show that during his time here.
The fans were chanting his name as well in Belgrade. That must be a big moment for him as well.
It's a really big one, that one. It's a really big one, that one. And but again, it's his performance, his endeavour. The Celtic support will love him. Come the end of the season, they'll be won over by his humility, his hard work, and his quality on the field, because he's a goal scorer. He will get goals, all different types of goals, and he'll give everything. So really pleased for him. It was a wonderful finish. He could have maybe had another one, but he's like that in every game. He looks like he's always going to score.
You also had him before at Leicester, and he had a one really good season under you, especially. Brendan, what is it about him that he needs as a player to get kind of the best performances out of him? Because he's obviously had a wee kind of fallow period in his career.
Yeah, I just think obviously when he was playing at Leicester, he was playing a secondary role virtually a lot of the time to Jamie, and obviously Jamie was an incredible player for Leicester. So that was always a challenge, and if you play in a 4-3-3, then you're never really playing with two strikers up there unless you're changing in the game. Or what I did for a spell was I played a different system of which he was playing up there with someone else. So, but any time he had to produce and come in, he was excellent. So, and it's like with any player, you need to feel the trust of the coach or manager. You need to feel you're part of an environment and really inclusive of everyone. And then your confidence grows from that, and that's what it is like, and especially strikers, the confidence players. So I can see that growing with him. He's come back. He's come to here, physically in a really, really good place. His body fats, everything is, be one of the lowest in our squad. So he's in a really good way physically. It's just catching up on game time, and he can be a big asset for us.
Had a lot of plates to spin, Brendan, with all the players coming in after the January transfer window. We brought in a couple of left wingers, Taneke, Balikwisha. We brought in a lot of strikers, also Kelechi and Nacho. For the last 2 games, we've had Yang starting on the right-hand side with James coming in as well. Is that the kind of plan for the squad between now and January? Is, like she said last week, that Dyson will be playing left or centre, Balikwisha won't go back to the right? Is it just we're running with Yang and Forrest in the right wing for now, or is there any other ideas?
No, I think we have options. I think Dyson can play there. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think in my time here, and when I used to watch from the outside, he would have played on the right, and Jota would have played off the left. Sometimes it was Abada that played off the right. So I think I can use that as a possibility for sure. I think where he's played most of his career for Celtic has either been on the left side or through the middle. But naturally, on the sides is probably where he's best. So I wouldn't rule that out. It was an area, of course, we wanted to reinforce. We weren't able to do it, and I have to try and manage and find a way to juggle the balance in the team to still make as penetrative and as attacking as we possibly can. So that's what I'm looking at.
I think out of all the signings we made this summer, there's a lot of fan expectation around Balikwisha with him being a long-term target. He's made some flash appearances so far without really nailing himself into the starting 11. What do you think is the key to getting him connected to the rest of the squad, to get him the most out of him?
Just time. I think Sebastian's come in and just been fantastic. So sometimes that shines the torch on other players, and everyone thinks that everyone should be like that. It's not always the case. I think that some people come in and hit the ground running, and it's great. I think that for Bale, I don't think there's any doubt over time he'll prove his worth and show that. But yeah, I always say it's really difficult. See at the biggest clubs, see if they judge players in that first year. It's so hard. You come into the demands of a club like this here, the personality that's needed, and you just hope that over time you would love them all to just come in and hit the ground running but there's so much that goes on to a move, but like I say, we know his talent. He was scouted for a long time. There's enough evidence there, and a great body of evidence by our recruitment team to show that he's a really gifted and talented player. So in time, I'm pretty sure he will show that.
Brendan, you talked about putting the summer behind us and moving forward, looking forward to the season, and that's what the supporters want to do as well. And the only thing stopping that is communication with the club. We can't understand why the club can't come forward and speak to the supporters who put more money into the club every year than any of the sponsors behind you.
Yeah, and I think that is something that I'm pretty sure the board and the executive team are looking at in terms of ways to better communicate with supporters. So I haven't obviously spoken to the guys today or yesterday, but I know that coming out of the window that was one of the key objectives, was in order to engage more and obviously speak more with supporters. So I'm pretty sure in time that will be the case, because as I said, in the modern life and modern world, communication is absolutely vital. It can stabilise lots of things in life, having that clarity, and sometimes you have to be harsh to be clear, but you're better being harsh and communicate than not say anything. absolutely. So so I think it's definitely something the club are looking into, looking how that sort of the comms aspect can improve relations, because there's absolutely no doubt that that's what supporters want. And like we say, we as the managers and executive boards, we're looking after the team and the club for you guys.
And on looking forward, has there been anything discussed so far about changes that are going to be made for the January transfer window, so that we can avoid similar dramas this summer in that window?
Yeah, I really hope so. I think that at this moment in time, for me, it's the scouting team know exactly what we're after and what we missed out on in the summer market. So again, a lot of work going on into that. It's a smaller window, of course, so you have to be slick, you have to be prepared and ready, and look to get the business done as early as we possibly can. So I'd be hopeful that we could learn from that and hopefully close that out better in the January window.
Anything on your new contract?
Nothing as of yet, no.